Olivia Parker knew something was wrong the moment she saw her name listed next to a series of expensive wedding expenses she had never agreed to pay. She sat silently in front of her computer screen. The budget spreadsheet stretched across multiple pages. Venue upgrades, premium decoration packages, a live band, a private guest reception area, and beside several of the items was a short note. Olivia will cover this. No one had asked her. No one had requested permission. Everything had been written as though it were an unquestionable fact. Across town, her younger sister, Madison Parker, was enthusiastically telling her friends about the dream wedding she was planning among the sunlit vineyards of California. Madison had always believed that family should come together to create unforgettable memories. What she never mentioned was that much of that dream was being built with someone else's money. For years, Olivia had quietly solved problems for the entire family: car repairs, hospital bills, rent payments when someone fell on hard times. She never brought any of it up afterward. She never asked to be repaid. That silence had slowly created a dangerous assumption: that Olivia would always help, that Olivia would always say yes, that her boundaries simply did not exist. What no one in the family knew was that Olivia was far more than the ordinary financial analyst they believed her to be. Years earlier, she had quietly invested in a small technology company when nobody knew its name. That investment had since grown into a valuable fortune. But Olivia never talked about it. She wanted people to value her for who she was, not for the numbers in her bank account. Yet as she stared at the expenses that had been assigned to her without consent, she began to recognize a painful truth. Perhaps some people had never truly seen her at all. They only saw what they believed she could pay for on their behalf. The phone call between Olivia and Madison lasted only a few minutes, but it was enough to change everything. Madison did not seem surprised when Olivia refused to pay the expenses listed in the wedding budget. If anything, she seemed confused, as though Olivia's money had always been part of the plan. "Do you even know what everyone is expecting?" Madison asked. Olivia did know, and that was exactly what disappointed her. The moment she calmly explained that she would not be financing a luxury wedding, Madison's tone changed instantly, from disappointment to anger, from anger to blame. Then came the sentence that seemed to drain all warmth from the conversation: "If you're not willing to support me, then maybe you shouldn't come." Olivia did not argue. She simply gave a short reply: "Okay." The bridal shower arrived sooner than anyone expected. Inside an elegant reception hall filled with fresh flowers and warm golden lights, Madison kept glancing toward the entrance. Guests began asking questions. "Where's Olivia?" Madison forced a smile. "She's on her way." But 1 hour passed. Then another. Olivia never appeared. What nobody knew was that for weeks, Madison had been telling friends and relatives that Olivia would be covering most of the remaining wedding expenses. Some people even believed Olivia was the primary sponsor of the entire event. Everything began to change when Margaret Whitman, a longtime family friend, unexpectedly spoke up. She gently placed her teacup on the table. Her voice was calm, yet unmistakably clear. "I have a question." The room grew quiet. "Why should one sister be paying for the luxury wedding of two grown adults?" Instant silence filled the room. No one answered. Another guest curiously asked how much money was actually being discussed. The number was mentioned. The atmosphere shifted immediately. Expressions changed. Smiles faded. For the first time that afternoon, people stopped hearing the story through Madison's version of events. Instead, they heard it exactly as it was, and the truth sounded very different. Madison sat frozen in her chair, because she suddenly realized that Olivia's absence was not the most frightening part. The most frightening part was watching people finally see what she had been trying to hide from the very beginning. The messages started arriving the very next morning. Olivia's phone lit up constantly. Her mother said the situation had become embarrassing. One uncle insisted that Madison was simply under stress because of the wedding. Others encouraged Olivia to give in for the sake of family harmony. The strange part was that not a single person mentioned the question that had silenced the entire event. No one talked about why a sister should be expected to pay expenses she had never agreed to cover. Everyone focused on the fallout. No one wanted to discuss the cause. Madison was no different. One moment she accused Olivia of ruining her special day. The next, she insisted that family members were supposed to help each other. Yet she never apologized. Not once. And she never acknowledged that her expectations had crossed a line. Olivia chose not to respond. A few weeks later, she sent a simple wedding gift. Practical items for a new married life. Nothing extravagant. Nothing flashy. Just things a young couple would genuinely need. Madison received the gift. But she never acknowledged it. Time moved on quietly. After the wedding, the bills began to arrive. Loan payments. Unexpected expenses. The glamorous decisions that had once seemed exciting slowly turned into real financial pressure. Meanwhile, Olivia's life remained peaceful. Not because she had more money, but because she had finally learned how to protect her boundaries. Several months later, during a rare family dinner, Margaret sat beside Olivia. She studied her for a moment and then smiled. Sometimes saying no is not a lack of love. It's the only way people can finally see the truth. Olivia lowered her eyes toward the warm cup of tea in her hands. Across the room, Madison was chatting with a few relatives. Laughter still filled the air. Everything appeared normal again. But Olivia knew something had changed forever. For the first time in years, she no longer felt guilty for saying no. And that was the most valuable gift she had ever given herself.